Ladies and gentlemen, this video is going to be more of, a personal video to take you back in time to explain all the very great moments of the history of Pecanpillar1266, i.e. Always Trade, i.e. 519AD, i.e. Front Stand, i.e. Cream Mystery. It's going to be a long video, so to a couple of y'all who were willing to watch it and go through it, so I really appreciate it. I'm going through the entire history, like everything. We're going to cover every part of it, every moment of it. And I could easily start, during COVID where I began to pop up, but we always have to start before then. The date is December 25th, 2018. And I get I get Robux for Christmas, like 20k Robux. And I see it's a really cheap deal of the WC Ultimate Citron Celebration, which I end up buying for 20,000 Robux. Its value has now gone up by 10 times the amount since. And if I'm correct, I didn't really start trading till I believe it was 2018. Or I would ultimately trade for the Citron Ultimates. That was a correction there. I traded for them. I did not actually own them, but I would trade up to them. And it'd be my first, what I would consider, big item I'd ever owned. It's crazy to think about. Forget the wrap difference, there's going to be a lot. And I would trade my way up. I would keep trading. And I would get a couple good milestones. And then later on I would keep on trading, and it would be January 2019, my birthday at that point, and I would end up getting even more Robux. I played Roblox all the time back then. I was a lot younger. And this allowed me to hit even bigger highs. I would get the green ice crown, which at the time was one of my dream items, which is crazy today because I can get like over 20 of them if I wanted to. It's crazy that was a dream item for me. And I ended up Blue Bubble Trouble is what I bought on Christmas Day. Now that I remember, it's coming back to me. That was my original dream item. Then I trade. I trade a little bit, get a couple wins, get some more Robux, and ultimately on January 26th, I would get the Frozen Horns of the Frigid Flames, which is now worth 500k Robux. It's crazy to see how the economy has inflated in the past 4 years. It's been a long video. I would get Sparks on Traffic Cone, and ultimately I would hit my peak on January 29th when I get the Garnet headphones. And I actually, was it the 20? It was. Why did you get it? Wait, was it? Why did you get it? It was one of these players, but I do remember it. So we'd upgrade all the way up, and ultimately we would get the WC Ultimate. Or it was the 30th, maybe. I'm not sure. It was probably the 30th. But sometime towards the end of January, we'd hit our peak, get the garnets, and you can see right here, it was 130, wasn't it? Was it? I don't remember. It might have not been, but we'd peak at 80k value. Long story short, but we do a couple failed trades, like going shaggy for peanut butter hair. But a really bad failed trade I would end up doing would January 31st. Here it is. This is the garnet trade. We'd ultimately trade. I don't know. Later down the line, we'd get a gold like a hero, and we would lose a bunch of value. Now you can't really. We're gonna have to zoom into that said moment. But if you look at it here, you see we had 85 and just start fail trading massively. And eventually I give up, sell for President's Day, and just give up. I went outside, I think it's the best way to put it. I gave away one of my items to one of my brothers, and yeah, I moved on. Then I came back 8 months later in October. At a Blue Bowl Trouble, one of my favorite item in the game at that time. I traded a little bit. I was making just a little bit of Robux, and just as I thought, I had a chance maybe, I got scammed out of my immortal soul. So for the third time, because I had gotten scammed, and I I was so defeated, and I really just kind of just traded smalls for a little bit. And then uh, Christmas comes along next year. I had another chance, and I go hit the ground running. I just start trading again, and this is where I buy the Citron WC Ultimates. I start trading up. I ultimately get Formidolosis. I get my first ever Dominus on Roblox sometime down the line, and it just we get better from there. If you look, we start gaining value, get these huge spikes due to birthday money, and by the time I hit February, I'm over 100k value, and things are just looking great. And I'm just trading my way up. I'm getting ice crowns, Valkyrie helms. Life really, it's great. And I keep trading, and then I get COVID-19. I remember, so upset and so like depressed, stuck in my room for weeks. But the one thing that kept me alive through those tough times was Roblox trading. When the pandemic hit, it was all I had. And by all I had, I mean literally all I had. And sometime around the line, I believe it's about here, I get the Yum face. And this was a huge accomplishment. Yum was 120k wrap item. It was a huge hat. And it was easily my biggest accomplishment in my trading career. And mind you, I was not making much. If you look, I had just started to make a little bit of profit. But you see, I'm making a little bit. I hit Yum face, and now I fail trade. But just as I start working my way up, on Easter Day, April 11th of 2020, I was asked if I could get um a free Clockworks, and I believed it, and I got scammed for a fourth time since 2017. And I really did want to give up, but for that next month, I grinded and saved up to get more money to get those items back, and I ultimately did. By the end of May, I was back running. And very quickly, I'm at 94k. But this time I had learned through all those trading experiences through the month of May, and my value just starts going up and up and up and up. And it keeps going, it keeps going. And we're going up like crazy. And on June 6th, we get our next biggest accomplishment, which is green sidewinder. Well, I don't know what day it was, but it was around then. Where we end up getting and green sidewinder. Now, somewhere around here, I was hoping I could find the trade, but I don't think I will. But if you go June 6th, what was it? It wasn't June 6th, my bad. It was later on for sure, though. Um, yeah, I'm so sorry about this. We go back to profile. We just keep on trading up, keep on going up, as I was saying, and eventually we do get our next big goal, which is green sidewinder. And for the first time ever, I was making profit. I was gaining Robux at an extremely fast rate. Oh, it was July. It was July 12th. So I keep trading, I'm grinding, and by July 12th, I have the green sidewinder. And at that point, I knew there was one of these two trades. There was one goal left. That was this one. And that was, of course, my dream item, which had been my dream item all that year, front stand. And so I just keep on grinding. And my value, it's going up at a fairly fast pace for that time being, and I grind and I grind. And on the slumpy day of July 25th, um, somebody I knew fairly well at the time masked me into my dream item front stand Serial 8. And this really meant a lot to me because not only was front stand my dream item, it also was it was my lucky number. So it really did mean a lot for me. And from there on out, you know what I kept doing? It was all grind. And I just kept building my value. I invested in rares. I started making a lot, and I held on to some rares. And I had to drop some rares. I just really stagnated for all of fall, September to November. It's like I got my dream item, went up a lot of value, and didn't really do much. You know what I'm saying? So I dipped rares. One day I realized it wasn't gonna work. So I dipped my rares and I began trading demand on a pure grind scale. And my value, I had one of the largest jumps ever. And from November 28th, in just 9 days, I had gone up 150,000 Robux. Something I don't think I can do now, which is crazy to think about I could do that back then. My value just kept inflating and kept inflating. I eventually got purple ending. And just as I was about to get my dream item teal sparkle time fedora, on New Year's Eve, I got beamed. And I was trading very well at this time. I had Clockwork's headphones, I had all these really nice hats, I had the Yum face, I had all of it. And it all went to end on New Year's Day. And, I could have gave up, I should have given up, because this is the 5th time. But I, I just couldn't. All that work, I had to keep going. And I begged for a rollback, and I did everything I needed to do, and I got it. And I began trading up, and trading up, and trading up. And I gained more and more rep. And by the end of January, I had Dominus Rex. And then I'd get Sparkle Time Fedora. And then I would miss 100k for Ghost Theory. But it didn't matter. We were gaining at an exponential level now. And we were only getting great results out of it. This was the miss send for Ghost Theory. No, it's before that. We get a profit on Ghost Theory, right? And I should have given up because I had done my best stage to miss send over 100k. It was very one day. It's actually one of my videos, so you can probably look back on it. And then I keep trading, and I actually do get Rex here, if I'm correct. And then Horde releases huge February 17th. The New Year's card gets released, or hacked, or comped, or whatever. And I flip it for 150k. Then the Chronite Horde gets released, and I get another 100k. Then Tough Guy cap, I flip it for another 100k. I get Green Glowing Eyes for cheap and get another 50. And the money just went up crazy, and I had my best 3-day span of my career. And when I thought I was going to barely hit 1.4, I was at 1.8. And I didn't stop there either. I kept going up, and eventually I fell off in an investment for rares, but then I paid off, and I had 2 million value. And at this point, I had the Sparkle Time Fedora and Red Domino Cup. But as known on this day, the grand UUC scam occurred. And I was scammed out of my Sparkle Time Fedora. And I don't remember who it was. I don't know who that person was. I think it was Deep Values, if I'm correct, who took, or I'm not going to make no names or nothing, but point being, I lost my Sparkle Time Fedora. So who will never know. It was like Sparkle Time for, I don't know. It was like Sparkle Time for Clockworks, and I did not get the Clockwork shit. And just like that, I was at 1.3 again. All my months long of work had been gone. But I kept going, I kept trading, I just loved it too much. I got a bunch of skater caps. In fact, I collected all of them except for Euro in this entire month span. I just had fun with it. And I invested in some rares, and I was just having fun, living my life, doing my own thing. And these rares are worth a lot nowadays. They're worth a lot. 4 million. All of these rares are 4 million now. It's truly mind blowing to me. But one day, I felt bored and I really wanted my value. So I sent a goal back. And in that same week, I'd gotten them 300k overpay on my blue steel bling, and 100k overpay on my neon purple crazy crown, and another 50k overpay on my glorious blue party queen. I do remember all of these items getting overpays on them. Basically, my rare investment paid off again, and I hit 2 million again. After months of waiting, I finally made a profit. And just as things were getting great, a couple days later, I get my Sparkle Time Fedora back, and I hit my peak at 2.8 million. And it was August at this point. It was June. No, excuse me. My apologies there. June 20th. And eventually, I was like, okay, this is great. I'm very happy. And I just continued. I continued to just trade and trade and trade. And eventually, I would end up getting, I don't know when, but eventually, I would get Sky Blue Sparkle Time Fedora. And I don't really know what I own to, but I can tell you that, I know. And I'll just continue to trade and trade and trade and trade. And I'm here to have Orange Sparkle Time Investment. We'd go up and down and up and down and up and down. And really, it hasn't really done much sense. I would get my neon purple crazy crown horde, and my future would continue. I would get a couple missed sends that were extremely costly, and I'd ultimately just give up and quit. But it doesn't make it a failure, because if you would have told my 10-year-old self I would become a Robloxian millionaire, my eyes would have glowed. But nowadays, 2 million just feels like nothing. And I think, as upset as I am about how much I could have, I'm always reminding myself of what I have right now and just making the most of it. Because really, I'm in the top 99.999% of richest relatives. I'm in the top 0.001%. And it's very honorable. And I know in the trading community, 2 million isn't a lot anymore. I understand that. But just to know what I've accomplished, for me at least, is great. I'm not a great trader. I'm not saying you should take my advice. But I think the biggest thing about trading is just power and will, just not giving up. Because it took me 5 times to get scammed before I finally got good at trading. And it'll probably take you less because I started when I was really, really young. Because I'm not that old. I'm not. I'm really not. So, I started when I couldn't even have Discord. I couldn't even check values. It took me years before I could finally get Discord. It was crazy. So just never give up and just follow your passion. It's a late video, but I just want to give you a history of Pecanpillar1266, front stand, etc., etc. And that's about it. I thank you all so much for watching this video. And if you stay to the end, I just really thank you because, this is a long video, but I just figured I'd let y'all know the history of Cream History because I've quit this channel really. Haven't really made much videos. So I figured I'd post them there for y'all. Peace out.